What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Redline Reactions. After I listened to my first Spiritbox song last week, I got flooded with comments recommending different songs and things like that. But there was one guy who said something kind of interesting. He said, if you've heard one Spiritbox song, you only know one Spiritbox song. And that kind of got me thinking, like, how many layers are there to this band? I mean, I loved what I heard from Courtney last time. I kind of wanted a little bit more of those harsh vocals. And so hopefully that's what we're going to get today. We're going to be looking at Holy Roller from Spiritbox, and yeah, we'll check it out. Kind of midsummer vibe. There we go. Yo, thanks. God. Okay. I probably could have chosen a better point to pause it at, but I'm not going to stop it for long. I have something really cool to say about this at the end, but I'm not going to derail it anymore. I love that sound from her. This is creepy as shit. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, it's not done. Whoa. Now it's done. Okay. So yeah, that was a lot different. That was like exactly what I asked for before. They were like, "Oh, you want more harsh vocals? Here's all harsh vocals, basically." So one of the things that I find really interesting. So I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I've been a strength and conditioning coach professionally for right about 15 years. So I've worked with thousands of athletes, all the way from 8-year-olds who know nothing about whatever sport they're doing, all the way up to Olympians. But I also grew up in a musical theater family, and I worked with a voice coach for a number of years. Though again, I'm not a vocal coach. Like, vocal technique is not anything that I'm familiar with, at least not enough to teach. But I am transitioning into more of like a research phase when it comes to the physical performance side of singing, and specifically harsher metal vocals. And what really jumped out at me with this, and listen, I know it's a music video, but I feel like I saw the same thing to a degree in the other video we did, which was Circle With Me. If you watch Courtney when she sings, it's very emotionless. It's very relaxed with her face. And that's an important distinction. Now, I would bet I'll have to see if there's like a live recording of this. I'm sure there is with like a concert performance, but I know that a lot of metal singers are doing like one take vocal recordings. I'll have to check and see if there's one there. But I would be willing to bet that if there is one, when she's singing these harsh vocals, her eyes are going to be largely the same to what you saw here, which is very neutral and relaxed and expressionless. Because when it comes down to it, singing metal vocals like this, as a strength and conditioning coach, one of the things that I always tell my athletes is be relaxed where you can be and powerful where you need to be. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, right? You can't muscle your way to a powerful metal vocal performance. It doesn't work like that. Your vocal folds and your false folds are not muscles. So you can't control them. If you could, to create like a sound that resonates at like 200 hertz, those muscles would have to contract and retract 200 times a second. It doesn't work like that, okay? So your vocal folds are controlled by muscles, right? The muscles control how the vocal folds are positioned and the stiffness that those vocal folds maintain. And then when air comes up your trachea from your lungs and hits that, it creates a certain, sound, or the beginnings of a sound that then enters your from your larynx to your pharynx, which is more like a resonating chamber. And from there, it passes on to the mouth, the sinuses, the nose, the tongue, the lips, and that sort of transforms it into more like recognizable speech or recognizable sounds like this. And you don't force that, okay? So anytime you start to see people, think like Alex Terrible, for example, very intense, very just. Now, some of that, his jaw positioning and his tongue, that is necessary for the sound. Even his nose to a degree, kind of, because if you scrunch a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of a different noise. But the eyes and the scowl, largely performative. And most of these metal singers, I'd be willing to bet if you ask them to sing a note or part of a song or even an entire song that they're familiar with the expression that Courtney had in this one, which is largely just okay, they're going to be able to do it. Okay, it might not be as comfortable for them, and it might not sound exactly the same, but they can do it. Because all this is, think of it like standing on one foot. Okay, if someone is really good at standing on one foot, to us, when we look at it, it's pristine, right? It's very stoic and still and everything, and it looks good. But if you were to look at the top of their foot and their ankle, what's happening? I don't know if you can see this, but you'd see something like that, where you'd see a bunch of little tiny micro adjustments. And that's the role of muscle and strength and conditioning when it comes to vocals. It's not about, powering it through, or, think of it like bodybuilding. Okay. You could be jacked and muscle bound and be a terrible bodybuilder. You could be a skinny little twig and be really good at it. It's not just about being big and greasy and orange, right? It's about being able to individually manipulate certain muscles or combinations of muscles in a certain way and be able to, maintain them and not have them get fatigued, right? Because obviously you can't be cramping there. It's the same thing with singing, right? And so we're going to be looking at a lot more stuff like this through this lens, because I find it really interesting, because no one would ever second guess a singer having a vocal coach. But why don't we ever ask, why do vocalists not have a strength coach for these sorts of things? Because it is important. So this song was awesome. I love it. I'm interested to see, so now we've seen clean vocals with a little bit of harsh vocals in Circle With Me. Now we've seen the opposite, where it's primarily harsh vocals with a little bit of clean vocals woven in the I feel like it's been so long right now, just woven sort of intermittently in there. What else do they do? I mean, surely at this point, I'm 2 for 2. There's 2 different sort of sounds already. What else do they do? Keep me going, guys. Let's go.